Thank you for tuning in to the Just Believe Show. I'm your host, Herbie Mack. Today's is something that I wanted to celebrate, something that I didn't really think that I was able to achieve. This is officially the 7th year that I'm celebrating my last suicide attempt. Honestly, I went from a place of being lost, from depression to suicide ideation, thoughts, and attempts, where it was just like, man, I couldn't even see what was in front of me. That moment, that year, at all, let alone even thinking about being in a position like this, sharing my hurt, telling my story to help others that's in need, that's struggling now, because no one deserves to die by suicide. And we can't prevent it. I personally went from a place of hopelessness to now to a place of happiness and understanding that every life is valuable and we don't deserve to try to end our lives. For those who don't know my story, I went from living in the Bronx, pissy projects, to now being in a position where, I get up and move and try to see life outside the projects, to struggling, in this thing we call life, not knowing who I am and not knowing any of my trauma, right? Not really identifying my trauma. When you're a young adult, you just get up and you just go. And you don't think, you live life fearlessly. And then for myself, starting seeing my trauma unload in front of me, it was just like getting hit by a car or a ton of bricks. One day you just wake up and it just hits you in the face and you don't know how to react. For myself, the way I reacted to my trauma was picking up alcohol, right? Anything possible was my nickname for how much I love Hennessy. And if it wasn't that, I was on Ciroc or Grey Goose or Ron Carlos, whatever my budget could afford. And I'm thinking, man, this is helping me like go through the motions, man. Like, I'm good. Not realizing that when I take these shots, the anger that I have on the inside was showing out, right? When you hang out with your friends and stuff, they don't see it. You put on that mask that we hide, hey, I'm fine, but on the inside you're crying. And they never saw that. So when I was, in my apartment by myself, they don't see me punching the walls or me throwing my plates at the walls and breaking my plates or anything like that. And it took me a long time to realize, like, man, this alcohol is not actually helping me ease with my emotions and my trauma, right? I'm sitting back and reliving my childhood trauma of when, my dad would speak to me a certain way or my mom would speak to me a certain way or whomever when I was a child. Like, yo, man, I wish they would talk to me now. And, looking at that wall, like, say something and punching it, to now being in the position to realize, like, yo, maybe you should put down this bottle. It's turning you to who you're not this person of anger and bitterness. Let's try to address this. But in that moment of depression and anger and bitterness and sadness and rage, you're not thinking logical. Well, I wasn't thinking logical. I was actually thinking of just having this hurt end, right? I'm tired of feeling like this. I don't know who to talk to because, what happens in this house stays in this house. That's the type of thing that I was raised in. And even thinking about seeing a therapist wasn't even an option. I'm being told, hey, Black people, we don't go seek therapy, man. Chill out with that. Just, drink this and you be fine. Or smoke this or you be fine. And that wasn't something that I wanted to do. I realized drinking wasn't even becoming fun anymore. I wasn't even drinking for social habits, right? I'm drinking realizing, like, man, I'm broken. I just want this pain to end. No one's here providing answers. The people that I'm calling to reach out for, they're not even picking up. I'm having all this hate. And I know hate is a strong word, but that's how I felt. Thinking that playing a video game can help me get out of that mindset, which you did for a while. Then you realize, like, yo, my day off, man, I spend 18 hours in front of this video game, and the only thing I had was some Pringles and some soda. Not really having a desire to eat because, I'm depressed. Not realizing that, yo, this is depression at its finest, bro. Into that moment when I decided to try to end it all, and I get that knock, and during this time, it's an ex-girlfriend that really confronted me and asked me, what's wrong? Why am I smelling like Hennessy and tears? Because I was hurt, and her providing that window of opportunity to allow me to be vulnerable. And not only that, her providing, the suicide prevention lifeline number, which is, well, now it's updated. Now you can actually dial 3 numbers, and it's 988. And that really helped me out, really sitting there speaking to a counselor and being honest, like, hey, I'm not myself. And I don't really trust me right now to check myself into a behavioral health center. And thankfully, there was a nurse that looked like me that can relate, right? And him realizing, like, yo, dude, you just hurt right now. You don't know how to handle your emotions. It was a big influence. And I thank him if he ever see this video or hear this audio. And being there was just like, wow. It was probably the best experience, but the worst experience in the sense of, he was the only one and a couple other nurses that actually got me, right? And provided tools as far as journaling and coloring and realizing having support is okay. You're not by yourself, because in that mindset, you felt like you're by yourself. Seeking the psychiatrist who was running it, who was pretty much a jerk, telling me, hey, man, you're from the Bronx, so, I know you're not the best reader or writer, and you may not understand some of these words that I'm saying, but in layman's terms, yeah, you're dumb and you're bipolar. And me realizing that I do have a voice and my voice does matter. Telling him, hey, man, I don't trust you. You literally sat there, read my file, and stumbled upon my name 3 times. You had to keep looking to see my name. And that 3, maybe 4-minute window of me having that interaction with him. But thankfully, there was another psychiatrist that actually did the proper testing and realized, like, no, you're struggling, man, mentally. This is depression. And I understand that you don't want to take any prescriptions, but, hey, seek therapy. Go get a counselor. Go get a therapist, to teach you the tools, because I can't, at the time, she's running the whole floor, and it's probably a minimum of 20 of us that have very similar stories of just pain and hurt. To really being released and really being thankful, like, yeah, I'm home. What can I do? And I just want to show people and tell people, like, sometimes we have to slow the world down, not moment by moment or minute by minute, but even second by second. That's what I had to do, right? I had to slow the world down and switch my mentality from I'm broken to I'm healing. And how does this healing look like, right? Journaling to a point where I can identify, hey, when you drink, man, you get really, like, angry and upset, to, hey, let's try something different. Let's put down the bottle. Let's go outside, get some fresh air. Let's do a little bit of exercising. 20-minute walk here, play some hoops, play some softball, do something different. Hang out with your friends when you can, but let them know, like, hey, you're not drinking anymore and you don't want to. To really grabbing myself, not even grabbing myself, but actually just looking in that mirror and telling myself, look, man, you don't deserve this. Suicide is not the answer at all. Do you want to be associated just with this alcoholic abuse victim? Or do you want to turn this victim mentality into a winner mentality? And understanding that, the depression that you have, it's okay. You're not the only one. You just saw 20 other people that can relate with you. Some look like you, some didn't. And it let you know that depression is not a black, white, green, or purple thing. It's a human thing. So forgive yourself. In order to forgive myself, I had to understand. I had to learn how to forgive, a trigger of my depression, which was my parents, right? I went from the Bronx, from moving to relocating, trying to figure out this thing we call life, and going to college and trying to figure that out, to dropping out, to finding a school, a tech school, to graduate, actually get a cap and gown, and forgive your parents for not being there, right? This was one of the biggest moments of your life, and they're not really acknowledging you, but it's okay. It's okay. They didn't reach out to you for whatever reason. Maybe it was depression. Maybe it was being fear. Seeing that their son is probably doing better than them, or seeing that their son is out there living fearless. Whatever the reason is, it's okay. We learn from this experience. And we learn from this experience and we grow together. But in order to grow, we have to let go and fly. As I sit back and think, like 7 years, I never, could imagine this. Imagine that I'll be able to share part of my story, but not only share my story, but teach others, right? Who would have thought that, I'd turn around and be this suicide prevention keynote speaker, let alone hosting a show. For those who are struggling with depression or anything like that, and having suicidal ideation, look, you don't know who to reach out to. I have so many resources out here in the description and the show notes. I want you to understand that I share my pain, right? So you're not by yourself. And I understand that our healing journey may not be the same, but I'm still supporting you and I'm rooting for you, because you deserve to be happy. We all do. In order to get to our happiness, we have to go through things that we may not want to, but we need to. It's very similar to, a butterfly. We see that caterpillar that, sit back and get ready to morph into this butterfly. But in order, when they're in that cocoon, you see them struggling to break free. And that caterpillar during that moment has to go through so much pain in order to become that beautiful butterflies that everyone sees. And that's how I view our healing journey. And I just want to put this out there. I know we all heal differently. For myself, I'm an advocate for going to seek, the pros, the therapists, the psychotherapists, the counselors, social workers. They help us to understand us, and you may not want to, you may not feel like that's you. Look, man, we have other ways. For me, playing basketball and being on a softball team was one of the ways that helped me build a support system. Because when you have a team, you realize, like, hey, I'm not alone. We're in this together. This person may be better than me in this one area, and it's okay, because I'm, not even better. They might help pull you up to that same level. Or you might see them struggle just like you, and you're like, okay, we are in this together, because they're right there cheering me on. And that's the thing that we need. Look, I provide so many resources once again. And I want to say thank you for those who are checking out this episode. I'm so grateful to still be here and still be alive. I'm trying not to get emotional, but thank you. I want to shine my light and share my light for those who don't see it. I want to let them know I hear you and I'm here for you. Till then, next time, peace.